In-N-Out is already a popular chain of fast food restaurants widely known for their burgers, palm tree designs, and busy drive-thrus. At times, they have had trouble getting permits to build new locations because those lines have gone all the way into the street, causing traffic jams. As of right now, most of the In-N-Out locations are in Southern California, where they originated, but they have been expanding. Their estimated sales surpassed $1 billion for the first time in 2020, and they have almost doubled it from there. They have been methodically opening new restaurants still throughout California, but also in new regions throughout the country. Here is the breakdown. In 1992, after 44 years of business, they finally ventured outside of their home state when they opened their 80th location in Las Vegas, Nevada. 8 years later, they opened their 147th location in Arizona. After another 8 years, they opened one in Utah. Then they went even further east in 2011 when they opened one in Texas. That has since been followed by new locations in Oregon, Colorado, and most recently, their 400th building was opened in Idaho. 400 locations, and when we break that down, we can see that they have been slowly gaining momentum. It took 47 years to open those first 100 restaurants. For the next 100, it was only 11 years, then 10 years, and then it was 8 years, and probably much sooner than that for the next 100. They have announced plans to open a new restaurant in Nashville, Tennessee in 2026, and then Albuquerque, New Mexico the following year. That Tennessee announcement was big because it'll be by far their most eastern location. They even hinted at the possibility of expanding into new states around that region, maybe Arkansas or Mississippi around there, and then that just got everyone speculating about where they could be going next. In-N-Out has clearly been growing and making their way into new areas around the country, and I think that there is a strong possibility that it will continue, and they will potentially be expanding near you. For this video, I put together a list of reasons why I believe they have done so well in the past and have such high potential for the future. Starting out with maybe the most obvious one, they have a great reputation. Seriously, it is difficult to find many complaints about them. They are easily among the most beloved fast food restaurants. They have ranked among the highest in multiple studies and surveys. The one that stands out to me is in 2022, Market Force surveyed over 5,000 customers about their most recent restaurant experience, and In-N-Out ranked #1 in overall satisfaction when compared to the other burger chains. Their score was almost twice as high as Burger King or McDonald's, so when people have such a great experience, they tend to talk about it with their friends and family and whoever else. They have relied on word-of-mouth advertising far more than any of the traditional forms. I think it's amazing that there are many people watching this that have never been to an In-N-Out burger, probably more from the eastern part of the country, that still think very highly of In-N-Out burger. For those reasons, whenever they finally enter a new area, it is seemingly always successful because it's like everyone has already been waiting for it. For some of those grand openings, there are people camping outside the night before and waiting in line for hours on that first day just to buy hamburgers. I find it almost hard to believe that they have never shut down a location until 2024 when they ultimately decided to close one in Oakland because of crime-related issues. My point here is that they have built a genuine, emotional connection with many of their customers, and that is fairly uncommon within the fast food industry. My next reason on the list is the Snider family. In-N-Out has always been family owned and operated, going all the way back to its modest beginnings in 1948 when a married couple named Harry and Esther Snider opened a 100 square foot hamburger stand in Baldwin Park, California. Harry was in charge of the day-to-day operations while Esther handled the accounting, and the biggest single thing that separated it from all the other hamburger stands in the area was the fact that it featured a drive-thru. You have to remember that this was back when cars were really gaining popularity, and it is believed to be the first drive-thru restaurant in California. Harry Snider even created a two-way speaker in his garage so that customers could place their orders from their car. I realize these are all common things today, but they were revolutionary at the time. Over the next 28 years, Harry and Esther worked hard to slowly build their business into a chain of 18 restaurants that were all still around the Los Angeles area. From there, the Snider family had to deal with a lot of tragic events. In 1976, 2006, Harry Snider died from cancer at the age of 63. At that point, his son Rich Snider took over as president of the company and expanded it from 18 to 93 locations over the next 17 years before dying in a plane crash with 4 other passengers at the age of 41. That is when his brother, Guy Snider, took control of it and opened another 50 locations over the next 7 years before dying from an accidental overdose of painkillers at the age of 49. It is almost unreal to have this many family members pass away at a relatively young age while they were still serving as president of the company. In-N-Out was briefly led by somebody from outside the family in the later 2000s, but in 2010, Guy's daughter, Lindsay, whose father died when she was 18, took control as president. There was a trust in place that said she would inherit majority ownership of In-N-Out when she turned 35 years old. So when that happened in 2017, she instantly became one of the country's youngest billionaires, with a net worth that has since been climbing even higher. I know that was a lot of information right there. What I'm trying to convey is that this family has been dedicated to the business. Based on various statements, I strongly get the impression that when each member took it over, they felt the pressure to honor the people that tragically died before them by maintaining the integrity of the brand and making sure that all of their work doesn't go to waste. For example, every one of these leaders has avoided franchising and public stock offerings, which are two of the most effective ways for a fast food chain to grow. But as we have seen on this channel many times before, stock offerings can lead to a lack of control, and franchising can lead to lower standards within the restaurants. McDonald's, just to compare, is another fast food brand that started in Southern California in the 1940s that famously took advantage of franchising and public stock offerings, and that's reflected in the fact that they have grown much bigger but don't have as strong of a reputation. I don't mean to put down McDonald's here, but they are not specifically known for their cleanliness or friendliness or any of those other qualities that In-N-Out has worked so hard to maintain. The rest of my list is going to be more about the specifics of how they built that reputation. Like the next one, their simple menu. I don't have too much to say about this, but In-N-Out has one of the simplest menus that you will ever see. Double, cheeseburger, hamburger, french fries, beverages, shakes. That is the entirety of it. It has remained almost completely unchanged from the beginning. Well, there is a secret menu, or not so secret menu as they call it, that really just has variations of those same items. Probably the most famous one being animal style, that comes with pickles, grilled onions, extra sauce, and the patty is cooked with mustard. I am not going to go into all of that, I could get really sidetracked, but they have resisted trends in the industry like offering breakfast or chicken sandwiches in favor of sticking closely to what they have learned to do best. You could imagine that the simple menu makes things easy and reliable for the customers, it streamlines their operations behind the scenes, and it has allowed them to perfect those items. It's the idea of focusing on only a few things and doing them really well, rather than dividing their attention between a bunch of things that likely wouldn't turn out quite the same. Leading me to the next reason on my list, the quality. Their tagline says, quality you can taste, because that has always been a huge emphasis, going back to that first location when Harry Snider would wake up early to hand select fresh ingredients from the local markets and then prepare them himself when he got to the restaurant. Julia Child used to be a big fan of In-N-Out. Gordon Ramsay speaks highly of it, I think proving the quality of the food that they serve. To this day, all of the burgers are constructed one at a time, made to order, using hand-leafed lettuce, real American cheese, and buns that are baked using slow-rising sponge dough. The french fries are cut in the stores, and the shakes are made with real ice cream. Nothing is ever frozen or microwaved. I'm sorry if I sound like a commercial here, but the food is undeniably fresh. In fact, that has been one of the main things holding them back from expanding throughout the rest of the country. All of their patties come from 3 production facilities, one in Southern California, one in Northern California, and as of 2011, one in Dallas, Texas. They have a strict rule where they only open restaurants within a few 100-mile radius of those facilities to ensure that they can make timely deliveries. So for anyone hoping for an In-N-Out in their area that happens to be far away from one of those, what you are really going to want to look out for is an announcement of a new patty making facility near you, because based on their current standards, that has to be there first. My final reason behind the success and potential of In-N-Out is the employees. There are 38,000 people who work for In-N-Out, and a very large percentage of them are happy with their employer and do a great job in creating a positive experience for the customers. That market force survey that I mentioned earlier placed In-N-Out extremely high in the categories of staff friendliness and cleanliness, which is also a reflection of the employees. In-N-Out has been known to pay their employees well above their competitors and offer better benefits, flexibility, advancement opportunities, and and a free meal every shift. Every year, Glassdoor puts out a ranking of the best places to work, and In-N-Out always seems to be placed very high on that list, like way higher than any other fast food company. Most recently, they were at number 6. Please, tell me about your own experience if you've ever worked there. I'm sure they're all going to be different, but overall, it appears that In-N-Out employees feel respected, maybe even personally connected to the company, and that has been reflected in how they maintain the restaurants and interact with the customers. Let me know in the comments, have you ever been to In-N-Out, and how do you feel about them? Are they delicious burgers and fries that deserve all the hype, or are they overrated in some way? I would normally ask about your favorite menu item when you go there, but it's probably pretty straightforward in this case. Also, if you live outside of their current area, would you be excited to have one open up near you? Do you imagine yourself going there to get that double-double for lunch every day, or would you be indifferent about it? Maybe expanding too much would make it lose some of the novelty, or maybe it would be too overwhelming and it would risk it compromising quality in some way. There is a lot to consider, so any thoughts you have about In-N-Out Burger, leave them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger is all about. Thank you for watching.